Hello everyone, and welcome to this podcast on patterns of organisation. In their 1998 book, Beatrice, Mikulecky and Jeffries help us to see that understanding and remembering what we read and hear is much easier if we can identify or find the patterns used. Among others, these patterns include listing, time order, cause and effect, and compare and contrast patterns. As an example, listen to this paragraph and see if you can determine what pattern is being used. Are you ready? Here it is. There are many different causes for car accidents in the United States. Sometimes accidents are caused by bad weather. Ice or snow can make roads dangerous. Accidents can also result from problems with the car. Even a small problem like a flat tyre can be serious. Bad roads are another cause of accidents. Some accidents happen because the driver falls asleep. Finally, some accidents are the consequence of drinking too much alcohol. In fact, this is one of the most important causes of accidents. Well, how did you go? Were you able to identify the pattern being used here as a cause and effect pattern? We know that it's a cause and effect pattern because the signal words used are signal words for cause and effect. Here they are caused by, result from, cause of, because, are a consequence of. Okay, well, let's try another example and see whether you can identify the pattern in this case. Are you ready? Let's begin. Lemons and limes are similar kinds of fruit. Both are grown in warm places. Both have hard skins and soft insides. People do not usually eat whole lemons and limes. That is because both of these fruits have a very sour taste. The two are often used in desserts and main dishes. People make juice from lemons and also from limes. Finally, both fruits have a lot of vitamin C in them. Okay, well, were you able to identify the pattern being used here as the compare and contrast pattern? Hopefully you were. Alright, well that's enough of the examples. Let's try an actual exercise now. You're going to hear 10 or so short paragraphs and you'll be required to identify what pattern is being used. Are you ready? Let's begin. Number 1. The kitchen in Linda's new house had many problems. The first problem was the sink. The water did not go down the drain. Finally, there was also a problem with the refrigerator. Water came pouring out and it made a terrible mess. Number 2. Linda had a terrible time in her new house last week. On Monday, the sink was not draining well. She had to call the repair company. Next, on Wednesday, the stove broke. The repair person had to come back to her house. The repair person spent many hours working in Linda's house that week. Number 3. Linda thought the problem with the stove was serious, but then she found out that the refrigerator problem was worse. The stove was not easy to fix, but the refrigerator was even more difficult. It was also much more expensive to fix the refrigerator. Number 4. Linda had a difficult week because of all the problems in her house. She could not cook any food because the stove did not work. Then all her food spoiled because her refrigerator broke. She had to throw it all away. Linda was upset. She almost decided to sell her new house. Number 5. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon on April the 16th, 1564. For a few years he studied at a school near home. He moved to London when he was still young. By the age of 35, he was already a well-known writer. Number 6. Two great writers were born in England in 1564. One was William Shakespeare. The other was Christopher Marlowe. Shakespeare lived until the age of 52, but Marlowe died suddenly when he was only 29. Both were famous in their time, and both are still loved today. Number 7. Many people ask why Shakespeare was so great. He was a genius, of course. He had many ideas about life, and he had a wonderful way with words. Shakespeare was also great because he lived at the right time. The English in those days were interested in new ideas. They loved plays and poetry. Number 8. Shakespeare wrote plays, but they were not all alike. He wrote 3 kinds of plays. One kind was the history play, another kind was the tragedy, such as Macbeth. Number 9. Zoos in the United States are changing. The old zoos had lots of cages. Even large animals were kept in big cages. Often the cages had nothing in them except an animal, and the animal was sad-looking. Many animals live together in these cages, and the cages are not empty. They are full of trees, flowers, rocks and water. They are like pieces of real country, not like cages at all. Number 10. These new zoos teach people a lot about animals. They show people how the animals really live. They also show the way they have families and how the mothers take care of their babies. And they show how many kinds of animals form groups and live together. In addition, the animals in the new zoos do not look so sad. Are they really happy? They can't tell us, of course, but they do look healthier. And now the final one. Zoo workers say that some animals change when they come to the new cages. For example, a gorilla named Timmy lived at the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo. As a young gorilla, he lived in a small cage in a dark building. Then he was moved to the Bronx Zoo, to a large cage outside. He just sat on some rocks. He didn't like walking on the grass. That soon changed, however. He started to move around a lot, and he did many things he never did back in his old cage. In fact, after only a few months, he became a father. Okay, how did you go?